Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where I get to talk to authors from all over the world. I have the best job in the world. I love to read. I love to talk to authors and hear about their books. And hopefully you, when you meet our next author, you'll say, wow, that guy's interesting. I'm going to read his book too. Because now's the time of year where we're ordering stuff. Holiday season, we're buying books for people, giving gifts. So check out this book. I asked Randolph how you say the title of it, but I've already blown that because I forgot. But we're going to bring in Randolph right now. Stand by. Let's see if I can find him. There he is. Welcome, Randolph.
Hello.
Sorry.
Welcome from Wheeling, West Virginia.
Sorry that I blew the title of your book, even though we rehearsed it. Tell us the title of the book. Acateel Sands
of Time.
Acateel Sands of Time.
Acateel Sands of Time.
Very good. Yeah, and so you're in West Virginia. Tell our viewers where you're located.
About 2 miles from Pennsylvania on historic Route 40. We're about 7 miles outside of Wheeling, West Virginia.
Nice. Is there snow there yet?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Yeah. We don't see snow. We don't see rain out here in California. You don't see much of anything except an occasional earthquake. Here's the cover of the book, Acateel Sands of Time. Tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Well, it takes place in the ancient kingdoms of Samaria, Acateel Sands of Time. It's a part 2 of the trilogy, Scrolls of Acateel, and it's the continuation of her adventure of trying to get back to her own time after being sent back in time to cover a crime against her. And she originally started out with the love of her life, coming back to her own time, but he got lost in Gilgamesh's kingdom. Now Gilgamesh is a mighty king in Uruk, and he's ruling over much of ancient Samaria. And she's got to find this kingdom through time and tell him that he's the father of a child that isn't even born yet.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Now, is so.
But he is the love of her life, and she's got a lot of adventures to go through to see if she can even find him. I mean, come on. She's all the way back here, 3,500 years in the past, knows nothing about the culture, the time, or anything else like that, other than what she was able to pick up a little bit here and there from our day and age. She's got a job on her hands.
Now, is this realm totally made up, or is it based in some sort of history?
Well, it's made up, but it's set in the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you're familiar with the story, it's a Babylonian king that had a lot of adventures, and you got to figure out who her love is that she's trying to find. Caleb, she's trying to find Caleb in the past. You got to find out if he became Gilgamesh, if Gilgamesh is somebody else. There's a lot of things, that just a lot of twists and turns it could take. But at the end, it's a logical progression, and I think it's a good story.
Now, is it, you call it fantasy, I would imagine.
Correct.
Yeah. Is it young adult? Who's it written for?
See, the ideas of the time travel, et cetera, are loosely, and I say very loosely, based on laws of physics. So there's some people that say something like this could happen. Yeah. It involves magnetism, the laws of magnetism, relativity, things like that. I'm not a scientist about those things, but I do have a vague knowledge of how they're theoretically supposed to work. I can picture them in my head.
Yeah, it leads me right to my next question. Did you have to do a lot of research for that part, the physics part? I mean, you're not an actual time traveler, are you?
Yeah. There's enough excitement in my own life. So I'm happy without going to other places and not having a clue as to what's going to happen next.
Now, I'm getting the feeling we should read these books in order, or does it matter?
It would be good to read it in the order.
And what's the first one, by the way?
They're independent books. You can read them separately.
Yeah.
And I've got the third one written already.
Okay.
I just have to get the cover, set a date for its release. I'm going to release 2 other books before those even come out, before the third Akatil comes out. I've got 2 other books that are in the completion stages, an anthology and a novel. But then I'm going to release it so that you can catch up on Akatil Angel in Time, which is the first one, Akatil Sands, and then you will have Akatil Alter in Time, and that'll present it in a nice package.
Yeah. By the way, it's just I make a pitch for the authors. It's time of year where we're giving gifts to people, and I encourage our viewers, go and get Akatil Sands of Time. And what was the first one? Angels of Time?
Angel in Time.
Angel in Time. Get them both. But don't order 1 copy. Order 5 copies of each book. And trust me, before this season's over, you'll find people to give them to. Now, I asked you this before when we were having a little, you're cutting out a little. Is this, who's it written for? Who's your audience?
My audience is a general science fiction audience.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I'm a member of the fire department. My chief is not a reader. I gave it to him. He said he could not put it down.
Couldn't put it down, yeah.
I've given it to other authors. They say they can't put it down. Quite frankly, I think, remember that Jimmy Stewart movie that said it was all these different things to different people?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, well, this is this book.
That's that book.
It's romance, it's adventure, it's action, it's science fiction, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
And yet it's really none of these, but it's all of them. It encapsulates a lot. It gets into historical detail. I created a culture by combining elements of the Hittites, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, for Akatil, Angel in Time. And then I studied the Hittites and the Sumerians and the Egyptians of Sands of Time to really make that come out and alive and vibrant. And so it's written to people that are into history, it's written to people that are into romance, it's written to people that are into politics and how politics play. But I managed to keep it from being preachy.
Right.
You're not thinking about these things as you're reading them, but they're there.
They're there. They're in there. Now, young adults, is okay for young adults?
Young adults is okay.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, just for prudence, I will say 18 and above,
18.
but you know.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that would enjoy this book. I mean, so many, you're covering so many genres, so that's exciting. What's amazing to me is you have all these things. I don't know how you track everything, all the background stuff, where they are and who is who and who's the, the king and who's this and that. There's so much in there, Randolph.
Well, computers make it easy, a lot easier than when I first wrote Angel in Time on a typewriter, because you can follow each character through.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can focus in on that character to bring him to life, and go through another one and bring them to life and make sure they don't contradict and who they are and what they're doing, and then you give it to your team. And I basically, my daughters and they've become artists, they've become teachers, etc., and so they do, and my wife, they do my editing, they do the artwork, the whole 9 yards. And so I have a team I just send it to. They go through and make sure there's no mistakes, make sure there's not places they get to and say, what the heck is this talking about?
Yeah.
And so it's really important to have a team.
Excellent. Now, you did the first one, you did the second one, you've written the third one. Is it taking less time, or you getting better at it, getting systems down and things like that?
I take a lot of time on Akatil. Most of it's the research, because even though it's entirely fantasy, it has to be historically accurate.
Yep.
It has to be something that could have happened. Otherwise, you're going to read it and you're going to say, this is garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I like a well-researched book, and it shows. You know when you're reading it. Now you finished the third one, and what do you do now? You've got a whole new adventure going?
Pardon?
What do you do now? You got a whole new adventure? You finished the third book.
I finished the third book. I finished another book.
Oh, thanks.
A zombie, but the zombies aren't the big thing about this one. And I'm going to be publishing that before I actually release the third Akatil. Like I said, I want to give it time to catch up on these and get ready for the next one and get some anticipation and thinking about it. Yeah.
Well, you're an exciting author. I mean, it's just how your mind works is amazing. That you got all this stuff going and you keep track of everything and where they are and like that. We've gone a little overtime, but Randolph, you have any last thoughts, any message for our viewers about your book, about you, about anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, one thing I would like to say is there's a lot of heroes in real life, not just like Akateel, but I'm a volunteer with the local fire department. So if you're in an area where you've got a volunteer fire department, support them.
Give them some support. That's a great message. I'll give another message. These books, I guess, are on Amazon and all the usual places.
Amazon. You can also get them in any online bookstore.
Any online bookstore.
From your, bookseller.
Yeah. And I just say to our viewers, once again, I said it earlier, don't order one copy. Press that button 5 times and get some of these and give them out. Whenever I'm reading a book, I want everybody else to be reading the book I'm reading, so I always buy multiple copies. Thank you, Randolph, for coming on the show. And happy holidays to you. And I'm going to follow you in your fire department and see what you guys are doing this season.
What's that?
I'm going to follow you in your fire department.
Oh, good. Valley Grove Volunteer Fire Department.
I bet you guys have a lot of adventures.
Too many.
Too many. All right. Our guest is Randolph Stewart. Akateel, Sands of Time is the second book. Go get the first book. The third one's coming out. And thank you, Randolph. And for our viewers, stick around. We're going to have another author on the show right after this.